But that's not the only person who is taking the bait. Does anyone else want to guess who is perfectly walking into the trap that the left is setting for them? Does anyone in the chat want to take a shot in the dark at who else is perfectly walking into the trap that the left is setting for them? Mount that like button for me, guys, while we're getting some guesses. Mounting the like button lets other people to know to join us on the stream here today. And if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, please do so. Well, yes, Yay has fallen into the trap. Yes. Allie Beth Stuckey, I saw her name. Allie Beth Stuckey always falls into the trap. She's just not the brightest crayon in the box. The conservative cunt Bobby is not the brightest crayon in the box. Yeah, I said it. Matt Walsh! We can always rely on Matt Walsh to fall right into the damn trap. Actually, let's look at no, that's a different one. Oh, Matt Walsh. Matt Walsh, Matt Walsh, Matt Walsh. Guys, Matt Walsh is leading the conservative right off the cliff. He is the Pied Piper of driving the conservative right off the cliff that the left is just hoping they're going to go for. There is no bigger like supporter of the woke left and their agenda than Matt Walsh. No one. And he's been tweeting up a storm today, per usual, but I want to talk about this specific tweet. Trans activists have gotten everything they want by crying hysterically and using emotional manipulation. They are now running into a faction of the right that doesn't give a shit about their theatrics or their feelings. They don't know what to do about it. They're panicked. Bro. You know how I talked earlier about the fact that the conservative right does not understand that they are focusing on the outcome of the problem. The hysterical leftists, the ones with the crazy hair, the ones that are always screaming and complaining and protesting, they are the outcome of the problem. They are not the cause of the problem. The cause of the problem is Marxists coming to America as part of the Frankfurt School, setting up shop at Columbia University, creating Teachers College at Columbia University, and then proceeding to send all of their teachers into the schools all over the country. First, they took over the universities, then they took over the public schools. And they took over the public schools a long ass time ago. But they really started in earnest taking over, and really systematizing all their bullshit probably about 15 years ago, okay? This has been going on a long time. They took over all the colleges of education. The colleges of education are what train the teachers. The teachers are the ones that go into the public schools. So you guys see how this works? Starts with Frankfurt School, takes over Columbia University. Columbia University has a school of education called Teachers College. Teachers College at Columbia University produces the most Marxist teachers in the country. Okay? So that was like their home base. You take over the college, then you create the school of education. The school of education is where the teachers are trained. The teachers then graduate from the universities and they go in to the public schools and the private schools and the charter schools, but the public schools are the ones we care about right now. And by the way, they didn't just take over Columbia. That's just where they started. You take over the colleges, you take over the schools of education. When you take over the schools of education, you produce the teachers. The teachers then go into the public schools. When the teachers start to populate out into the public schools, and this takes decades, okay? Decades. This is not a year or two. This is not 10 years. decades of doing this, okay? Eventually, you reach a critical mass of Marxist trained teachers in the public schools who start indoctrinating your little darlings into the woke ideology starting in kindergarten. This hit, I think, about 15 years ago. Okay. That's when they started getting their critical mass, was about 15 years ago. And I say that because in these school districts that I've looked into, they started formalizing equity plans as a formal department, a formal report around 2010, 2011, 2000, not, excuse, yes, 2011, 2012. And it's not that they weren't doing equity before that. They were, but they started formalizing it in terms of an official department with official staff positions around 10 to 15 years ago. Then we're really starting to cook. Okay. So now not only do you have all your little darlings being taught by the Marxist trained teachers, you also have a formalized equity department within the school district that is constantly reinforcing and feeding itself. That is the cause of the problem. That is where we should all be focused. What Matt Walsh is talking about, because he's not thinking clearly and he's just trying to grift on the issue to make money. What Matt Walsh is talking about is the outcome of taking over the schools and producing in the schools all these useful idiots that are running around with the crazy hair going to protests and screaming about things. Those are the people who are crying hysterically. Those are the people who are using emotional manipulation. But they are not the drivers of the problem. They are the product of the problem. They are the product of it. Does everyone see the difference between the cause of the problem and the product of the problem? If you are constantly focusing on the product of the problem rather than the cause of the problem, you will never fix the problem. It's like say you got a really big tree, right? You got that really big tree in your backyard that's been there forever. The cause of the problem are the roots of the tree. The roots that are underground that you can't see, the sprawling structures. If you ever pull that tree out of the ground, you're going to see all these roots like everywhere. The roots are the problem, okay? The leaves on the tree are the product of the problem. Not that trees are a problem, but you understand the analogy. Matt Walsh is focused on the leaves on the tree. He is not focused on the root cause of the damn problem. And because he is focused on the leaves of the tree, he is enforcing exactly the wrong effing strategy. Everything that Matt Walsh is advising conservatives to do is going to make the problem worse. Not only because he's advising conservatives to play the left's ball game on the left's playing field with the left's rules that the left has set, and the left can change at any time. And Matt Walsh is saying, go play the left's game. It worked for the left. Why wouldn't it work for us? Well, the reason, Matt, that it's not going to work for you is it is the left's game. The only way to win the game is not to play. But even more than that, he's not focusing on what the real problem is. It's the symptoms. It's the same thing with the book bans, okay? All these ridiculous book bans in schools. Do you guys know they're producing new books constantly? They never stop producing these new books with more and graphic sex scenes than the books before. So you're focusing all this time and all this energy on getting these books out of school libraries because everything will be solved if we get the books out of school libraries. Well, as soon as you get that book out of the school library, they're going to replace it with 5 more. And if you get, and then you have to figure out what the names of those books are. And then you have to figure out how to get those books out of the school library and have to do the whole rigmarole again. And when you get those 5 books out of the library, they're going to replace it with 10 more. That's the game you're playing. The left has you. The left has you in a never-ending circle chasing your own goddamn tail. And it's all because you're focusing on the outcome of the problem, the symptom, the books, rather than the root cause of the problem, which is the policies and the curriculum and the teacher education training, which will never be solved for. The schools are gone. The only thing that can happen is to defund the government schools. That's it. That is it. That is the only solution. Herbert Marcuse came to Columbia University in 1933 or 1934 to escape Nazi Germany. Exactly. Frankfurt School. Zooming in to New York. So Matt Walsh is wrong. Matt Walsh is going to make the problem worse. Matt Walsh telling conservatives to get mean, to play the left's game, to use crying hysterics and emotional manipulation. And the left is going to be like, thank you, Matt. Thank you, Matt, for telling us, for telling your people to do exactly what we wanted them to do. Matt Walsh has no idea what a gift he's giving to leftists right now, because Matt Walsh doesn't care about solving the problem. Matt Walsh only cares about exacerbating the problem so that Matt Walsh can make more money and maintain his status or get more status. He doesn't care about fixing the problem. He's just using it. And that's why he is giving you information and ideas that are going to make the problem worse. Because if Matt Walsh makes the problem worse, Matt Walsh makes more money, honey. That's how the game is played, guys. That is why you do not listen to people who profit off of there being a problem.